All right. Good evening once again, everyone. I welcome you all to another wonderful session in the series of our webinar. And I would like to welcome everybody personally. Tomiwa, good evening. I see you. Good evening. You're welcome here. Ifeoluwa, good evening. You're welcome. Grace, good evening. You're welcome. Mayoga, good evening, ma. Stoluani, good evening. And our able speaker, good evening, sir. I see you as well. So please, from our end, if we can try to get drive traffic to this call, to be very, very much appreciated. All right, we have a series of agenda on our list, and the earlier we start, I believe, the better, so as to close in and make use of our time properly and judiciously, obviously. So good evening once again, and I hope we'll be benefiting one way or the other from the whole of the series. Because personally, I have benefited. I've got to know AI tools that I've never heard of before, try to check them out, see how they work and function. And you especially get to know how to prompt this AI, how to navigate around them, how to get the best results physically around them. So to me, this webinar has been very, very thoughtful. Has been a very thoughtful one. It has opened eyes, opened the mind, just to know that okay, there is more to what I know, and I can do better with what I have at hand. Okay, good evening, uh, Abdullahi. I hope I get that right. Good evening, and you're welcome on board. All right, so to introduce to us, this session has been running, and this evening again is brought to us by Elibot Limited. Elibot is a tech innovative company that goes around to ensure that young minds and young graduates are having their career figured out, basically, especially when it comes to tech and the use of tech tools. So one of which we are doing through the through this series, basically bringing it to you and to ensure that you are learning one or two things. And at the end of the day, if you decide to go deeper and further, we are we have a lot of plans in place for that, which you can just reach out to us from any of our social handle. You're welcome on board, Mr. Chite Okedeji. Thank you very much for joining. Good evening from wherever you're joining from. All right, so that's basically more about it from Elibots. Yeah. So you can always check us out online. You can always check out our socials. We are on LinkedIn, X, Instagram, Facebook. Just check us out. Someone will be there to respond to you. And of course, you can also send mail in case you find that very, very easy for you. You can always send an email to us, info@elibot.com or hr@elibot.com, whichever one. Someone will be there to pick it up and respond to you. Just in case you finish this webinar and you want to align with us further, you feel like you want to pick up a course or you want to have a one-on-one session, whatever thing it may be, we'll be there to put you through. All right, so in order not to waste much of our time, I would like to just go straight to introducing the wonderful speaker that we have for this evening. Basically, we've brought to you a lot of speakers, and honestly, everybody has been. Thank you very much, Toluan. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. A lot of us, as a lot of speakers have been brought to us, and to be honest, they've always hit it on the head. So it's just for you to know that at Elivos, uh, we are nothing less of quality. It's always quality, top notch. So people that are bringing to you are people that know their niches and they specialize in whatever it is that they are doing. And from there, you also must have seen that, okay, this is value. So if you want to align with us further, please do also reach out to us via all the mediums I've explained before. Obani, just good evening. You are welcome on board. You're welcome. Thank you for joining. All right, so let me quickly run through our speaker's bio so that we can know that tonight is not just another you know, just another night, not just another talk. It's going to be full of etiquette, enthusiasm. It's going to be full of words. It's going to be full of learnings and knowledge. So this evening we brought to you someone that doesn't just work in the AI sector. This is someone that builds with it. He builds with it as a product manager with experience across 5 industries. You know what that means? 5 industries. This is no joke. It's not just to say, okay, I'm just this and I'm that alone. This is someone that goes niches into other field entirely, just to make sure he inculcates his own particular role, spread it across as further as it can get. He has been designing system that's personalized learning, flag hiring labs in real time, and extended financially across financial access across to people that models overlook. Sorry, getting a sound. Please, if you are just joining, kindly mute yourself. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please do what to mute yourself as you join. Yeah. So I was saying he has led products as an AI assisted educational technology platform, consulted on enterprises digital transformation across 15 different countries. This is no joke. That's why I said to you, Eliver doesn't do just anyhow. We bring quality almost and every time. 15 countries is like, it's no joke. And built a portfolio of AI powered solutions that solve problems most products don't even try to touch. I don't know if you know what that means, but this is like when they say hitting the nail on the head. Hitting the nail on the head. This is exactly what we are talking about. What sets him apart now isn't just the range, is the clarity it brings to messy and ambiguous problems that sit on the edge of what technology can do. Convinced that the most important AI tool hasn't been built yet. Ladies and gentlemen, he said, the bio says the most important AI tool has not been built yet. This can only talk about excellence. That is, the excellence is now is not a peak, it's a process. The most important AI tool has not been built yet. When I read this part, I was like, wow, wow, I love this message. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome with me Mr. Olatunde Olufemi. Mr. Olatunde Olufemi, good evening, good evening. Thank you very much.
Hi, good evening. Hi, good evening. Can you hear me? Please confirm you can hear me, everybody.
You are very audible.
Okay. Okay, what can I call you on this call? Because I could
All
see
right.
you've.
My name is Isaac. I actually forgot to introduce myself. All right, my name
Okay.
is Isaac, and I'm HR with Elewot. Thank you very much, sir.
Oh, nice. Isaac. You can as well call me Tunde. I appreciate when I'm called Tunde around this space. It's really nice to be here. Thanks for the invite. Elevate Foundation, and a very interesting thing that you guys have going. And I'm really glad to be in your faces this evening or wherever time zone you guys are from. So I would quickly be sharing my screen. But before I do that and I dive into my slides, but okay, I'll just do that. But while I'm doing that, I'll just like to know the kind of people I'm talking to here this evening. I realized that I was told that there were a couple of people who were interested in tech. There were already professionals practicing, and possibly even people who have taken their careers as early starters as well. So you could just type your niche in the chat box so I could kind of know what I'm working with while I get out my presentation slides.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Tunde, for that. I hope we all get that. So please, let's do well to just drop it in the comments. Whatever AI or tech niche we think we have been joining that will help is teaching one way or the other. Please do it to drop something in the chat box, and thank you very much.
Okay. You could see my screen, right?
Yes, your screen is.
Okay, great. Whoa, I ain't seen anything on the chat box. Guys, I really like an interactive session for me. So, okay, I see you, Ife Oluwa, virtual assistants. Oh, great, cool. Uh, yeah, guys, let's get it rolling. This is a webinar, if I understand very well. Let's get it rolling. Oh, I see you, project manager Toluwani. Cool. Okay. If I have two more, that would be fine for me to move on. Yeah, I think people are chatting, people are getting in the chat box. I just need to be sure that I'm communicating with the live audience. Okay, two more people. I see Tolu Ali, I see Ifel Lua. Cool stuff. Okay. All right, so that's fine. Because of time, I would actually have to like run. Okay, I see. I just started learning AI automation. That's G-Day. Yeah, G-Day. I just started learning AI automation. That's totally cool. I think you're in the right place. And we hope to have a very reasonable conversation this moment. So guys, I think I'll be talking on how AI and no-code products are built. When he was reading my portfolio, I was really surprised as well because I felt like, oh, really? Today you've done a lot. That's interesting. Okay. But personally, I always just believe that we are all young people here. And, the strength of every young person is your ability to be able to do more, your ability to be able to go for more, your ability to be able to, broaden your horizon to achieve more. So I think if you're here and you're still probably under 30, you must gid up your loins, knowing that there is so much more that I could do, right? And generally in the tech journey and in this tech space, I think that should be your first primary mindset if you're going to approach any form of career at all. I have a personal bias for a mindset that goes that there is nothing I cannot learn and there is nothing I cannot do, right? And you would serve yourself a very big justice, most especially for this space, right? To go with that mindset because we're talking of a very fast-paced industry that every day, every hour, there's something new coming up. There are new things. Old career paths are becoming obsolete and there are new things coming up. So you have to as well be abreast, guide up your loins and keep moving. So you want to know me? Who am I? I'm Tunde, right? I think he did a lot justice with the bio, but I'll let you know that I am a self-taught front-end engineer. I got into tech through front-end development majorly. I did that for a reasonable amount of time before I found myself in products. But before I found myself in products and I realized I wanted to do products, I've always also had a flair for building things and just seeing things work generally. So I hope there'll be people like me right here, right now. So I'm just a builder. I think my friends call me today the builder generally. So I try to build things, try to make it work. I studied mechatronics engineering in the university and pretty much it. Currently, I work with Matab Technology and we consult majorly, providing tech solutions to over 15 countries so far and counting. If you look very closely, because I do not like to yarn, I do not like to speak so extensively and bore you out. That's not the intention. If you look closely to the left-hand side of your screen, you would see a picture there. It's a picture of a keyboard. That was my first keyboard into tech, right? That particular keyboard. We have been through thick and thin. We have seen the entire process, we've seen the entire journey. And it was when I was about to finally let it go. Initially, I wanted to keep it and just for the art of it. And so I could tell my kids probably and say, yo, this is what your dad did before he he got some money. All right. So I took this picture when I was finally ready to discard it. All right. So just for memories. And I thought to share it with you. So if you're here, I probably believe your dreams are not valid. I don't stand here as someone who has attained, because we're still fully on this journey, actively trying to provide solution until we see the world that we dream of and the world that we want generally coming to our very eyes. And for our born kids, we generally do not stop, right? So success generally is kind of not a destination. It's just a myth and a journey that we keep going. So, yeah, that's the keyboard. And if I could figure this out, so you can, maybe that's some motivation there. I don't know. I'm not really a good speaker, presenter. For some reasons, I accepted the invite because I just felt like, okay, generally, I owe it a responsibility to younger folks coming up. I do it from time to time where we just speak to each other and just see how much we could do together, right? So, yeah, let's go straight into it. Building used to be expensive. We're talking about AI tools, no code tools. You can as well help me. Just type 1 or 2 AI tools that you know that you use. I see someone is learning AI automation. I see there's a virtual assistant here. I see there's a project manager. I suspect your niche as well is IT, right? So it's just a no-code tool or an AI tool that you probably know of, or if you don't know of any, that's totally cool as well. But if there's anyone that knows of any, you could just put in the chat box. That would be really cool. I like an interactive audience. Yeah, so building used to be expensive, but it isn't anymore. Oh, Claude AI, Zapier, Notion. Yeah, you guys are active. That's really good. So building used to be expensive, guys. For many of you who have been students of history, you remember a certain time. I told you for one, I was a front-end developer, literally, and there was at that time where being a front-end developer was a big deal. It was actively something that had high value and high stakes. If I decide to just build you the front end side of your website, I mean, not everybody could do it. Not everybody could code. Not everybody had access to trying to build up a product or develop a software or develop a website, right? In fact, many people run from such fields because they necessarily didn't like coding. Funny enough, I was that person until I had the mentality I told you of earlier instilled in me that I could do anything. And even if, like, there are things that don't come easy to me, all I need is some time. I take some time and I learn it, and I'll be very good at it. That's the mindset you're going to approach, and that's the mindset of any winner if you're going to achieve anything successful, right? So if you look back at history lane, you would see that there was a time where you needed developers to build anything. There was a time where only funded teams could ship, right? People actually had issues like, to ship products was extremely expensive, right? To get to host your domain website, build your products, hire engineers, generally to just come up together to build a product. That took a lot, right? It took a lot financially. It took a lot human resources, process resources, timelines, and all of that. Generally, that was our entire journey, right? There was also a time ideas died because execution cost too much, right? And many people had so much ideas, but were able to pull them off because execution costs too much. But now, fast forward to our day and time, and that's today, where you and I exist. We have AI that handles research. We have AIs that handle writing. We have AI that handles logic. We have AI that handles codes, right? We have no-code tools that turn real ideas into real products, right? We have anyone with a clear problem majorly, right, can start building today. Right? Anyone with a clear problem. And I have a mantra, guys. I'm a product manager, and most part of my work is around bringing clarity, right? And you'll still see more as I continue this discussion, bringing clarity to your team, us being able to dissect and really provide solution. There is more to it, but like that clarity is very important. We have seen so much in recent times where there are a lot of Nigerian founders and founders generally in the space where products rise up daily, products die daily as well, right? And in this space, clarity is very important. Ideas don't just surface because they sound good. Ideas don't just surface because it looks like, oh, something that was particular to you, right? Maybe let's take for instance, I know that could be very touchy, but oh, I was abused as a child, and also I want to create a product that helps children abuse. So my point is this: ideas don't become tangible just because you have personal affiliations to it. There are entire metrics that we take these things through to be sure that they are needed, right? And so this, to my point, any founder here can testify to what I said. Probably founder, ex-founder, uh, dead founder, you have dead products. I can understand your struggle, my guys. So a product is a solution someone values enough to come back to. I'll read that again. A product is a solution that someone values enough to come back to. Now, I divided this into three, which is problem, solution, and value. Now, the problem is a real frustration a real person experiences regularly. That's the definition of what a problem is. A problem is a real frustration a real person experiences regularly. Let that sink. I'd like you to just follow me through, right? Because I believe you're going to leave this room approaching things differently. Solution. A solution is something you build that removes or reduces that frustration. So it removes or reduces that frustration. Probably as I'm talking, you can begin to think of the things that you think about and see if that applies to you. So if you would know if you actually had a problem first, right? Or if you had a solution to what you call the solution was a solution, right? And then value, they return, they refer others, and the products grow. So your solution, it's not a solution. It could be a solution, but if it's not converted to value, there is no business for you, right? Value is when they return, they refer others. That's when the business grows. So there's a common mantra we have in the product space where your audience have to accept, right, that is a solution for them. You don't have to convince them that that's the solution. You don't have to convince them they have a problem. So it doesn't, generally, a product doesn't have to be an app. It doesn't, it's I'll start with that. I know we're techies, right? We're going somewhere. A product, it doesn't have to be an app. It has to solve something real. It has to solve something real. So a product could be a shoe, right? Solving problem of you not having your legs on the floor. A product could be a cup, solving problems of you being thirsty and being able to drink water. So that's a product, right? And it solves a real problem. Now, on to the next. The PM, what does the PM do? The PM connects the problem to the solution and everyone in between, right? So as a PM, your major role is to connect the problem, first of all, the solution, and everyone be in between. So you have to understand the users. We conduct market research, we conduct user research, right? You set the direction. In case there's anyone intending to be a PM here, I'm giving you a bias to my field. We'll still go into AI and no code a bit, right? But I'm giving you a bias into my field. Understand the user, set directions, align the team. Generally, we also measure outcomes. So what does success generally look like? So a PM doesn't just build products. A PM makes the right product get built. So it's possible for you to build wrong products. These things most times, I don't know how best to explain these things, but they happen most times by experience, but it's extremely possible. I have been in scenarios where like you just found out that you were digging a wrong hole, right? And so that's why we emphasize on data in this part of the world where in this part of the industry, or this part of, when I say industry, I mean the part of this part of the world. When I say this part of the world, I mean the part of the industry generally, right? That we belong, because you have to have real-time data for you to be able to judge your metrics generally. No products can just be built based off vagues. You have to have your numbers. What do the people actually want, and where do they actually need a solution? So generally, it's not a straight line process. It's not a straight line. It's generally a process, right? So we discover, we define, we design, we build, we launch, and we learn. So who has the problem? First of all, how painful is this problem to them? We define what exactly are we solving and for who. I have realized one thing in the tech space, right? If you're not able to clarify this thing as to what exactly are we solving, right? And for whom, you're not, don't be too, I know how these things happen when ideas come. It could be really nice, like it could be the best thing probably after sliced bread, and you just feel like, oh man, like let's get the ground running. Oh, this sounds so good. You've pictured yourself in Silicon Valley, right? And you just like, bro, we're going higher, man. We're going. And you've not been able to literally define what we're actually solving, what you're looking at. What's even the problem? Like, there are many, it will shock you that there are many people today who are working, they're doing so much, they say, oh, we're trying to solve. And you ask them, what is the problem? What are you solving? Like, just tell me, what are you solving in one line or in two lines? Like, and who are you solving these things for? Which should even be the crust of your business, the foundation of your business. And all you're banking on is you guys have stayed 2 years in and we're going all out. We have a team strength of 500 plus people, and we're still asking you, what exactly are you solving and for whom? Clarity is a very underrated skill in the product space. So once you're able to solve that, then you go into design. So what does the solution look like? What does the solution look like, rather? What are we looking at as a solution for this, right? And when you're able to design how the solution should look, design doesn't necessarily have to be, oh, then you have to go to Figma to, draw user flow or UX generally and all of that. It could be as good as a pen and a paper initially, for starters. But especially if you're from the founder's perspective, how should this look like? Then you could get a designer, or if you're very familiar with no-code tools like Figma, Claude AI could help you. Notion could help you. You could build proper tools, right, for your design flow. I don't know if there's any UI UX engineer or aspiring any here, right? So then you go into build. So now, this is an interesting thing because you start with building the smallest version that works. It's called MVP, minimum viable product, right? You start with building the smallest unit, smallest version. Yes, I know with the rise of AI tools and no-code tools now, you could actually ship a product in 2 days, even in 6 hours, you could build a product and get it shipped and keep moving, right? But, where people are not able to do 1, 2, 3, that's the 1 step, the 2 step, the 3 step, and you rush to build, you just realize that you actually haven't because the MVP is necessary for test, right? I'm trying to see how best I could be very simple with my lingua, right? So I do not complicate things for anyone here, right? So just help me. You use your MVP majorly to run tests, right? And if you're able to, it's always advisable to have an MVP. You don't have to build how be it you build your entire product, you run everything fully, right? And you just find out that people actually don't really need this, right? That could be a lot. So the MVP is just necessary to see if people really want to use what you're building, right? And then you launch. So it gets in front of the real users, right? And then you learn. So what worked, what didn't work, and then we keep going again. First of all, all of this is not to say if there's any founder here, don't be scared of failure. You got this, man. You got this. So AI really replace builders. It's made building accessible. Honestly, I have a very powerful bias for this. I know that right now many career paths are shaky and people are scared. What's the future of my career? How do I build a future-proof career? How do I go about all of that? But most times I see AI as a servant. Permit me to say that, right? Because it's needed. It's needed in terms of it's just a tool, and you are to lead it. So the problem where many people have issues, where many people face issues, is around turning it the other way around, where AI becomes your master and you become the servant. So that in itself, already talking from someone who has built a couple of AI models, I will tell you that you are reducing your brain power that way if AI becomes your leader and you become the servant. Because the duty of AI is to help you do your work better, right? Help you build better, be more productive. You still take the decisions. You still look as to, oh, this is wrong. I don't like the way this sounded. This is not correct. Make this look this way, right? It should never replace your judgment. Instead, I and my friend were having a chit chat, and it was generally about people from the older generation who always just blast up and say, you guys are not doing so much in this generation. You guys are lazy. Probably heard one or two things before before that. One or two of you have heard that before. I think the person was facing that particular situation, and we just realized that honestly, what do you guys measure as success? Success for every generation is your ability to be able to maximize the tools that were given to you, right, and use it for what it was necessary, right? So maybe the older generation, there was a generation that had just stone and fire and wood. How much were they able to use those resources to move the entire world at that time forward, right? So it's always been a progressive journey. And now it's on our laps again. How well are we able to use these tools to move the world forward as we go on? So it's important because, AI tools are really, you could see here, I just listed out some things majorly. This is not all of it, for research and strategy. I spoke about that in the first slide, where we have tools like ChatGPT, we have tools like Claude, we have Perplexity, right? They could be used for market research, competitive analysis, writing PRDs, that's product requirement documents, generating ideas and the likes, right? We have design and prototyping tools as well, Figma, Notion, right? And you can use them design wireframes, user flow, product documentation, and collaboration generally. We have building and shipping tools, GitHub, Coursera, and the likes, right? Very much needed. And just honestly, and the funny thing about these tools is just have a laptop. I have mantras, guys, that guide my life generally, right? And one of my major mantras that I have picked in the last 5 years is stay curious. You need to stay curious. Like if you're a techie and you're not curious, you would have a lot of problems. So you have internet, you have a laptop, you probably have a phone. You hear something, you see something, you need to be very curious, like what's going on here. Feed your mind. Our generation doesn't lack information. There's an information bank everywhere. Like, okay, so what's going on here? They're saying that this is happening. Okay, how does it look like? how do I get myself in the frontier of this, right? How can I be one of the people who will determine the prosperity of Africa using my technological skills, right, to propagate progress in the African landscape? These are conversations you should be having to yourself. You should always ask why. You should always question things, right? Can ChatGPT and Claude AI be all of AI? Can that be all of what the AI revolution has to offer, right? Are there more things that needs to be integrated into the system? These are conversations you should have to yourself. Now you can streamline it into your industry. Oh, I'm a personnel here. Okay, what can we do here, right? And generally, you need to just stay curious, really curious, right? And just keep going. Honestly, a curious man would be filled with so much wisdom. And I mean, people always look for the man with the solution generally. So yeah. You have to validate before you build. Now, this is very important, guys. You have to validate before you build, because the biggest mistake isn't building the wrong thing. It's building without asking. I touched a bit of this while I was talking initially, right? Honestly, how when you're building a structure, you're building an edifice generally, and you have to pay attention. The most important part is the foundation. I know we live in a very fast-paced industry, so I'm not asking you to stay 6 months in a foundation and saying your solution will literally just become obsolete after 6 months. You just find out that what you were trying to solve is no longer a problem. So you have to move fast as well. But you have to pay attention to what you're building, right? You can't build without asking, right? Talk to real people, right? Talk to real people first, not friends or people who actually experience these problems, right? Listen more than you talk. So generally, that's just talking about market research, right? Conduct proper, non-biased market research. Many founders, most especially in the African landscape, I've realized that many founders do not like to accept the reality that, let's say, what you're building is trash. It's not going to work. It's not going to work as far you can't do it. It's not going to work as far they don't need it. It's not needed. Like, you need to, what facts, what data do you have as to what you're building? Maybe because you and your family realize something and you think the whole world will now need it without conducting a research outside of that your space, or with even the people that you see these things as a problem for, right? And them identifying that, okay, this is a problem. I have a personal mantra, which is any problem that you have to convince the person facing the problem that is a problem to them, that's already a failed product from the beginning. Because how do you tell me that I need this? You're trying to force me. Yeah, many people argue that that's the rule of marketing, where you're able to convert. And I believe in that as well, because you're able to convert users' need. What I believe in is you're able to convert people's need to what they want. So you make them want what they already need. But you can't make them need it. Do you get? They need to first need it, right? They need to look into, you need to know that these people need these things, right? These people need what we're talking about here. So you're talking to real people, you're conducting market research. What do we need here? What's the problem here? Is this a problem to you genuinely? You push out questionnaires or like other form of data fishing, right? Genuinely try to validate your idea. And it's okay, guys, if you, after pulling that out, you just realize that, oh, that sweet idea that actually had butterflies in your belly, and you felt like the next probably Mark Zuckerberg going to Silicon Valley was not just going to work. The people didn't need it, and you exit. You actually exit. That's very uncommon most times for many people. So you want to keep pushing against a dead brick. and you keep struggling. So you test the ideas again, right? Probably through a Google form, and then you look for pull or push. If you're convincing people, yeah, that's the mantra. So if you're convincing people that they have a problem, then most likely the idea isn't ready yet. If you have to convince people that they have a problem, most likely the idea isn't ready yet, right? It's uh, it's just like me. Has any of you been in a situation where probably someone is trying to sell something to you and they're just like, okay, you need this. You need, okay, they're just telling you, you need this. This is what you need. This, and you're like, you don't have to work that hard to make me know that I need this. Because if I actually need this, even if I don't have the money for it, my response would be, once I have the money, I should get this because I actually really need this, right? So just check it out. You don't, it because it looks good to you, because it feels good to you, doesn't mean it's a problem that is being solved to every other person, right? And that's why data is gold in this part of the world and this part of our industry and the work we do generally. So now it's really about talent, guys. It's really about how nice your interface is, how good or how badass a UI design or UI UX designer you are, right? It's more about, you know, how these things I spoke about generally, right? Can you hear me, guys? I'm getting an echo. Okay, great. So now let's look into this, right? People who ship and people who don't, right? So what separates people who ship from people who don't? People who ship, right? They start before they feel ready. Now, this is now, I have spoken so much about clarity. I've spoken so much about you paying attention to the foundational stage but I started by saying this is a very fast-paced industry. So I'm never going to tell you, oh, you sit in 2 months and you're trying to, that could also slow you down. It's a fast-paced industry, and sometimes you might not entirely see the bigger picture. I'm not asking you to see your office space in probably 1 acre of land in Silicon Valley or something. I'm just asking you to be clear on what you are solving and for whom you are solving, and then run through your market research to be sure that these people need this. Now, this is now the difference between two kinds of people, and these yardsticks that I bring here, they have been taken over time from studies and histories of people, most especially in our industry, which is the tech space, right? People who have shaped, people who have become successful through like this means of pioneering things, building things, and starting things, right? So people who ship, they start before they feel ready, right? While the people who don't, they wait for the perfect idea. So we are, I said stay curious, stay active. You actually need to be active. You probably should have a pen and a paper. Okay, oh, this is what I'm seeing as a solution, as a problem here. In fact, the clarity stage should be a normal stage. It shouldn't be a stage that you feel bad about. Oh, I think this is a problem. Let me just run it through a group of people, right? And just hear what they think. Oh, they don't think it's a problem. We shut it down straight. On to the next, guys. We go. That should be the energy, but you should always be on the move if you're only going to make anything successful here. You build small and you learn fast. Now, that's the place of MVP, right? I've had a lot of in my early days working in products, I worked with a couple of products that, the founders that we build in private, we spent like 6 months trying to, I really made that mistake and never again, right? Trying to shaping up a product, trying to build up and let it be perfect, right? Then boom, we now introduce the product, and we were probably, how it is in your head, you're expecting a magic, expecting, oh, everyone is all about it like the way it was in your head. And meanwhile, people who do these things, they build small, learn fast, they build with people, They don't build in private for too long, right? Because this is the rise of AI no-code tools that we're talking about here. AI no-code tools. Many people are shipping products. Many people are building products. Many products are also dying. Like it's like a bloodshed as it's coming. It's failure on arrival, right? So you need to be sure about this before you even move into these spaces. You share early, even when it's rough. You share early, share early, share early. Like when I mean share early, I'm not asking you to elude the protection of your intellectual property. No, 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 no. But you share early. You share because you know that you need data to build what you're building. You're not building for yourself. You're not building for your mind. You're still in turn building for the people, right? So you need data to build what you're building. So you share, you find data, you find ways to get real-time data that apply, right? You don't get data about how to, okay, whether people need, let's take for instance, people need EV vehicles in, let's say Kenya. Do people need EV vehicles in Kenya? And then you go to where probably the tricycle riders in Kenya are and share questionnaires. And you expect the data you got from the tricycle riders to help you make good decisions with your EV manufacturing in Africa or in Kenya. That data definitely would not apply generally because you got data from the wrong audience and not the people who you're meant to build for. So that definitely is a thing. So you treat feedback as information. You know, have you had founders that you told them that, guys, this your product is not going to work, and you give them constructive. I'm not also a fan of you just picking up someone's work and just dissecting it and like with no empathy, right? But even when situations like that arise and you see the truth in what they say, you don't have to take it personally. I know it took you 6 months like to sweat and get it all out, right? But if you see that this is feedback, not an attack, right? It's something to look. So you treat feedback as an information, all right? And then you go to deal with that information. Whether this is true or not, don't ignore feedbacks. Now, how to start? How to start today? You don't need a team, guys. You don't need a title or even a budget to begin. That's the beautiful thing about, the situation of the AI code. When I mean no budget, I'm not saying you not need money, but this is just generally to simplify how the entire process of product development has evolved as a result of AI introduction and no-code tools introductions as well, right? You find where you just need to write down one problem you personally experience. So now that's obviously the first part. Now you draft it into a one paragraph, right? A problem statement, a proper problem statement. And what should a problem statement look like? If this was a workshop or a proper boot camp, we would have walked through all of this together. Everyone would probably even develop a problem statement of themselves, right? And see how we could go with that. But draft out a problem statement and who has it, what does it cost them, and why it matters. So like, who are we solving for? What's currently, how deep is that problem, and why our solution even matters, like why that situation for them matters. Then you sketch a solution, right? Probably with a paper, a pen, or I told you Figma. You can use Figma to generally just design, use design flows, right? Or even as simple as a Google slide, you could get yourself something good for a design solution, what that should look like if you're going to even share with your team or something. So you build a simple landing page with Webflow or CAD. These are no-code tools. So I didn't even tell you, go and get a front-end developer or go get a back-end developer. Right now, right here, it's moved to a point where you could, no, I'm not eluding the places of experts. Like if you can get experts, you need experts. I have experts. I've never really wanted to do things as an island generally. So you need people on your team. But now you know that, okay, these things could also work this way, right? So you build a simple landing page, a Webflow, or with CAD, right? and then you share it to 10 people or even more, right? But minimum, and ask this question: would you use this? And if you share to 10 people, guys, and 8 of them said no, bro, and you're except you're sure that you didn't share it to the right audience, I wonder why you get such feedback and you keep going. And then you probably feel like a magic would happen. It's all right. So your first product won't be your best. Devs. You've seen products. There's a reason why there's upgrades, there's updates, there are updated versions of product, right? You probably think of how the first initial, let's say Facebook was, right? And think of how it is now, right? So like MVPs normally, right? And then we keep progressing as we go. Trying to rush now because of time, right? So generally, um, if you actually need to build AI products or you're looking to go into the no-code product space, I think the essence of this session is to just let you know that you could do it. Like you could actually do it yourself, right? Stay curious. You have tools, you have materials available with you. I listed a couple of them here, right? You have internet, you have a device. Just stay curious, go into it, right? What does it look like? I think my first experiences with tech products and building tech products were with where the entire curiosity thing started was while I was in secondary school. I remember I would just go on Google, how to do this, how to do this, how to do this, how to man, like if you are able to, do that, right? Your life would actually be way better of how to what's that thing you want to do, how to do it. I know there I really salute what Elvat is doing here, trying to bring this knowledge to you at your doorstep. But you also go all out and build the kind of life that you want, right? And change the world in the way you want. That's the beauty of you as a human. No machine can replace that. You have the power to create, you have the power to, you know, do so much more. And you have tools as well to help you. These are just tools. You know how our fathers had cutlass and hoes and certain things, maybe your grandfather, because I know what Gen Z is now, so your great grandfather or something, right? But yeah, these are your tools now. You might not have hoes and cutlass, but these are your tools, and you can do so much with them. So before I round up, I'd just like to know if there are any questions. Anyone with any questions for your answers? I have a mantra as well. No question is too basic, right? And that's exactly why we're here, because no question is too basic. I also say that in every nonsense, there's a sense. So if you remove none, you're going to see sense, right? So feel free to ask your questions. I would be able to help as much as I can, and let's see how it goes. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tunde. That has been a very wonderful session, I must say. Please,
Thank you,
guys, are
everybody.
you with us? Can you throw some emojis? I'm not seeing reactions. What's going on? I don't want to believe you guys are sleeping, like are sleeping on this call. Please. Let's throw some reactions. He has done a lot of justice to everything. And in the course of his teaching, we have a lot of people that have joined the call. Balikis, good evening from here. Thank you for joining. So, yeah, I just want to be sure we are not sleeping because I'm not seeing reactions. He just landed up and everything was just like that. Yeah. The Saint Steak, good evening. Ola Fisoye Temileyin, good evening. Thank you for joining. Oilamola, you're welcome here. Please, let's show reactions. Let's celebrate him. He has done justice. Thank you very much, Mr. Tunde. We really appreciate that. That's a very, very wonderful session. And like I said, no question is too small. Anything that is unclear, anything that's ambiguous, please do well to signify. I can call you to unmute your mic and speak so that I can ask your questions, or better still, you can use the chat box. Whichever one is fine. Please, let's bring about our questions. Let's bring our questions. Although I have some questions that are here with me, that have been, thrown at us before the even before the beginning of the class. We're still going to go to that, but it's a live session. So anyone that is here now should get the privilege to ask their own questions first before we dive into other questions. So please, if you have a question, can you simplify? Just raise a hand, then I can call on you to observe your question. And if you are too shy, if you are the shy type like myself, maybe you can use the chat box. Don't worry, I will help you and read. I did as much as going to school, so I can I can do that much for you. Please, I'm waiting. I'm waiting before I take the questions I have on my. Or do you guys want to put names? Or do you guys want me to ask my own question before we ask questions that directs to our speaker for the evening? Uh, just to show that we are following. He has said a lot of things, and it would be very nice if we can, do a form of easy recap now. So, from the beginning, he was talking about a product is a solution someone values enough to come back to. That is when your product is not a solution, then what exactly is it? Then he said something about falling in love with the problem and not the solution. That is falling in love with the problem. That is, the problem is exactly what people want to solve. So the more you fall in love with it, the more you understand it, the more you are going to like dive deeper into it, and from there create a solution that actually works, that actually serves the purpose. So this is like me giving you a recap now. So I don't want to call on anybody. You now have me in mind. It's this guy that called me. So, anyways, I think I've not gotten any questions. So let me just go ahead with the questions I have at hand. Uh, okay. Let me see. Let me see. Well, some of these questions have been handled. Some of these questions have been handled. But let me see. There are some that we still need to have Mr. Tunde give us a brief about. Okay, so I have this one that says, if I don't know how to code, can I still build or contribute to products? I believe you have put down on that as well. But if there's anything specific you would like to add, sir, please, I would like you to take that question. He said, if I don't know how to code, can I still build or contribute to products? Mr. Tunde, over to you, sir.
Thank you. I want to be sure that you're talking about. I honestly aren't used to so much of the Mr. And yeah, my colleagues call me Tunde, my friends call me Tunde. So I'd appreciate you calling me Tunde as well. Like, I'm very comfortable with it. So yeah, to the question, I want to be sure that if you're talking from a developer's perspective, or you're just talking in general, the general tech space.
Okay, so obviously it's from a developer's perspective, like someone that wants to venture into tech kind of programming or this, I want to build a product, I want to code. So like that should be the aspects we are taking it from.
Okay, so if you're venturing into development right now, you don't need to. It's very dicey because this particular statement has been very abused by many people, right? It's important, and this is why I said you should stay curious. I told you that most parts of my career I had to do self-learning by myself, right? I in as much as I went to get certifications when necessary, right? I mean, go for your certifications, my guys, but I would always pick someone who knows the job over someone who has the certification, right? But both is very important as well to get you in the big stages, right? Yeah, so it's important for you to know your fundamentals, even when you do not necessarily need to know how to code before you go into tech. Let's take, for instance, you're doing something that because for many people, this is probably one major crossroad that they have been in for a while, and that's why they've not even ventured into tech, right? Because once they hear tech, they hear codes, they hear probably JavaScript, CSS, HTML, Python, and the likes. And you kind of just probably think that that's all about tech, and so automatically everyone in tech codes. I literally have AI engineers on my CL that don't code no more. Like you don't understand. Like they literally have to the AI no code tools that we're talking about here. That's what most of them use for their works right now. But I can never downplay the fact that there's that foundation. I mean, and one of my colleagues always yabs the new generation of AI engineers, where he says, I'm not part of the AI engineers that ChatGPT produced, right? Because there are a couple of people, and that's just to buttress my point, where tomorrow I can decide I want to be an AI engineer, guys, and I would actually develop very good AI models, right? Because of my access to these tools. So why I'm saying this is, if you're wise enough and you can leverage, you could write codes even here. You could build softwares. Any part of it you do not understand, the tools are elaborate enough for you to even ask questions, right? As to, okay, yes, you built this way, but if I was to flick this way, and these are the ideas of what I have, how do I go about it? They could answer you. I mean, Claude AI be doing massive things these days, right? So the guys, leverage. I know you're from Africa, you're probably not from the United States, but you must always just believe that where you are is not a disadvantage, and you can leverage, right? You can do something that could change the world. So you don't need to answer the question simply, you don't need to have necessarily prior experiences in coding to dive into the industry. Yeah. That's why they're actually called no-code products.
Wow, thank you very much, Tony. That's very, very, like, the way you answer the question is actually motivating. Like, even me, I want to be like, okay, let me just run down with some AI and stuff.
Oh, thank you.
Wow, thank you very much. I believe that answer has done justice to your answer has done justice to that question. Thank you very much for that. Okay, so we have another one that says, suppose someone has an idea but doesn't know how to turn it into a real product. What should they do first? Like, what is the first step?
Okay, could you recap on that, please?
Okay, suppose someone has an idea but does not know how to turn it into a real product. So what is the first step? Turning an idea into a real product, yeah.
I think I ran through that for a large chunk of my presentation, but I'll just recap on it essentially for the people who probably came later times, right? So you have an idea, right? I know, yeah, you've heard ideas change the world, and things like that. As good and as motivating as that sound, you should add to it that an idea that has gone through a test, like through that entire test that I showed you guys, right? That's when it's deserving to be a product. So you can have an idea and it sounds good and it feels good, but it's not solving anyone's problem except from the sweetness of your mind that you're probably going to be a founder of something that doesn't solve anyone's problem. There's the whole founder accolades that come with many people now. You just want to put founder on your bio. Oh, I really run away from being a founder, honestly, because I even think it's so much work. But if you actually feel like you have thought about it through and you think you want to be a founder, I mean, I'm not saying I'm not going to be a founder later. Hopefully, when I'm ready to take on that part of my life, yes, I mean. And I've done a couple of initiatives to start things. I have run a couple of things as well, personally. In fact, I own a newsletter, right, where I write about things that have to do with building products, right, called Building Products. So I write more about what it takes to build products and how far you could go, right? I talk about AI and no-code tools as well. So you could actually subscribe to my articles and you would see more as primarily I use LinkedIn and Substack. Yeah, for my writings. You can check me on LinkedIn, Olatunde Olufemi. The name is consistent everywhere. The username Tunde the Builder. Yeah, so I write more about that in case you wanna. I mean, you can also reach out to me through that medium to gain more knowledge. But while I was saying that, I personally think that to convert an idea into a product, there has to be a system. So now you are looking beyond your, there was something that I said in the slides where you don't fall in love with the solution essentially. Now that's not to discredit the power of the solution you're bringing, but you fall in love with the problem, because there is a tendency that many people have emotional attachments to whatever solutions or whatever ideas that they're bringing, that they're unable to see it as wrong, even when all the data and all the pointers are showing you that what you're bringing, not it won't work, like it's not even needed. It's different from, because trust me, I believe in having grief. The journey of a founder generally is going to be a journey of grief. There'll be moments when things don't look like what you want to see, right? There are moments when you have goals, you have places you want to be at, and you have to start and keep building. There are times when the numbers are not adding up business-wise, right? So generally, I understand grief. I understand you being able to, stay at it, right? Keep at it, motivate your team as we go from 0 to 100. But essentially, if the core of whatever you're developing is wrong, whatever motivation and whatever process you're going to give your team within that period is still going to be built on a wrong foundation, which is going to be still a major problem. So you need to, I think I would actually share my slides with the team, right? Because most of the process to answer this particular question was a core part of what I spoke about, right, today. So I don't want the answer to this question to be too long. So essentially, don't play with your data. Whoever is asking these questions, don't play with your data, right? So when you have an idea, very good, cherish it. I consider ideas as seeds that could possibly become a tree that will produce many fruits, right? But you must get out of your emotional attachments to those ideas and run them through proper metrics, proper data, right? Check through, okay, what is needed here, right? Are these things that I have as ideas? First of all, this problem I see, is it just a problem to me, or is it a problem to other people, right? And then the second thing, the solution I'm giving, is it a solution that people would be interested in? So you need to spend time communicating with people. I'm not saying you could do one-on-ones. Generally, if you're very much extroverted, you could do one-on-ones, like talk to people, hear them, be more of a listener at that time, right? Because you're trying to check, because you don't want to be in a situation where you have built an edifice. Let's take, for instance, have you seen a very giant mall that is well fitted, well stocked up, right? And probably the store count for a day is just like 2 people. Let's say in a day, only 2 people come in to buy stuff. That's what many people will do. You spend the core of your time, you fixed up your AI features, you've built your AI model that solves this problem, you designed your fantastic brand logos, you worked up your social media, right? You did everything, and you just realized that you did all of that on the wrong ideas. People didn't need that. People didn't want that. Like, people would have not gone for that. Do you understand? So you must spend so much time running through this data, look at it, right? Examine it, work with. That's why you also work with real people. So who are the people? I gave an example of the EV vehicle as well, right? Trying to bring EV vehicles to Kenya, right? And you go run a market research by people who drive tricycles. they would give you wrong data, definitely, because they don't even have the money to afford an EV, first of all, and they don't need an EV. They don't know the essence. So the data you get from them might not validate your idea. You need to validate your idea before you start building, right? So you spend time on market research, try to get as much data as you need, and then you run through that process. Then after ideating, and you're very sure, it's two ways. That data will give you 2 pointers. Should I go on or should I stop? Right? So if you see that you should go on, my guys, you need courage. Now you move really fast. You check what it needs, what is needed to build that product, right? You assemble, obviously, if you need to, you assemble the right team, right? Definitely you would need to assemble the right team. Be sure now, break it down. How clear is your solution? Clarity is very needed. And then you move, you develop, you run through test again, ensure your product and your solution works, right? Not only solving the problem. Now, how do we optimize these solutions? These are conversations you should be having in the rooms. Like, okay, yeah, I have the solution in my head. Yeah, what do you guys think? How do we optimize this? Can we make it better? Can we automate it? Can we, don't be that island who just is emotionally attached to this is what I had in my mind and this is what we're going to do. It's not going to work for you that way. I love you guys. Yeah.
Thank you very much once again. That's explicit. Thank you very much. That's basically information is power. Yeah, thank you very much. You have to get your facts straight. You have to get your data right. Thank you very much, Tony. That's very wonderful from you. Thank you very much. Okay, I think we still have a few more minutes, so I'd still like to observe a few more. Okay, so this one says, what exactly does a product manager do in a team? I think now this is in relation to a project manager. I believe a lot of people might be on this confusion states, even myself, but thanks to Elifot, I have my clarity on that. But then I would love this to come from you as a product manager. So the question is, what does a product manager do in a team? So it should not be like in comparison to a project manager.
All right, very good question. Thank you. I kind of expected it. I think I even published an article. Okay, not an article, but I wrote extensively on it at the time on LinkedIn because I get that a lot, right? And I get that a couple of times a lot, where many people are kind of confused, most especially in the African context, right? A product manager is, let's take for instance, a product manager is just that guy that brings everybody together, not just bringing everybody together, but you run through the ideas. You're the business merchant, you're the stakeholder manager. There is more to it. You're just that piece that ensures that everything works, right? And everything moves. And that's why I don't think it's an invalid argument, or not argument now, but it's an invalid question when people ask, what is a product manager and who is a project manager? Like, what difference is that? Because there are a lot of similarities in their roles. In fact, a product manager manages projects. There are times we embark on projects, developments within our team, right? And you have to foresee that. You could bring in project managers, definitely, but you have to have project management skills as well, right? To be a very successful product manager. So a product manager, first of all, it's streamlined to tech. For our context, I don't know if other industries are introducing product managers, because I told you guys already that products also span beyond tech products, right? A shoe is a product, a car is a product, but I've never really had product managers in that sense, right? So in relation to tech, right, definitely, we are major decision makers. We stand at the intersection between stakeholders and the entire team. We work with the cross-functional teams, the engineers, the developers, right? And we just ensure that timelines are met, deadlines are met. We meet we give the entire roadmap as to how this development is going to go, right? And generally straighten the team when necessary, remove roadblocks when necessary, get every part of the needle going. You might need to be a bit being technical most times is a plus, because when communicating with engineers, sometimes you might also work on one or two fixes with them as well, right? You have to have technical know-how, understand APIs as well, right? And depending on your needs, so there are different kinds of product managers as well. There are growth product managers, AI product managers, fintech product managers, general product managers as well. So you could just decide what you do with that. And in as much as, yeah, you could also do your research more to what the differences are, but this is what it looks like from my standpoint and based off my experience. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I think that's very nice from you, sir. Thank you very much. I believe the person must have gotten the answer to that question as well. Okay, people on the call, I'm not seeing any question in the chat box. I will take that as we have our clarity. Okay, so but then in the course of time, if you still have one more question, because I'll be observing one more question here. So while it's taking that, if you have question, the floor is still open. So here is the last one. Based on your experience with AI tools and all of those making work easy for you. So which of these AI tools do you think one can engage as a beginner, or is it when I'm a beginner I have to use this, then when I'm migrate I have to like upgrade the AI tool as well, or I just have to start with this and continue with it, or how does it work?
Your question is a bit dicey because like I said, they're tools, right? And tools are used for different reasons. What you use a hoe for, you necessarily might not be able to use a cutlass for, right? Or okay, some people could argue that, right? But you get my point in all of it. So I think before you capitalize on the tools that you want to use, what is the work you want to do, right? You ask yourself that question. Okay, what do I want to do, right? And then what are the best tools to do this particular work I want to do? So there are different tools. Okay, I want to develop mobile apps. These are the best tools. I want to develop user flows for the user experience. These are the apps. So it's there are different tools for different purposes, right? And it's left for you to make your research, right? Okay, I need to do this. In fact, some tools help you to recommend other tools, right? That you could use to do this, right? This could help you to set this up. This could help you to do this, right? That's why I said they are tools. You still are the Superman and you have the superpower. Many tools are limited at some certain time or the other. So it's left for you to see how you bring them all together and, use them when necessary. I think I understand you saying what tools are best to use as a beginner. In fact, the beautiful thing about AI is it's also able to relate to you at your level, right? And you can as well admit that, okay, I'm a beginner at this, right? And I need this, and I want to move from here to here, and user-friendly tools as well. And if something isn't giving you what you want, this is where many people are losing it, and that's what I would say, because your sense of judgment should never be taken away from you as you use AI. You have the power of judgment, and you should be able to decide what you want. So this is not right. I don't think I want to do this way, right? You need to take this back and correct it, right? If not, would have a chunk of people that are probably just doing the same thing. These days, I stumble on social media posts and I'm just perplexed. Like, why do you all sound the same way? Like, it just sounds like an AI literally wrote it for everybody, right? And everyone just sounds the same way. Everyone, so if I'm to say maybe that's another pandemic that will come up after the boom of AI, which is humans should not lose their, you know, their mind as well when it comes to your touch of things. What makes you unique? You know, as a designer, you're using an AI tool. Your touch of creativity is a tool. It should not replace you. That's the point, right? It's a tool. You are superior. It's not superior. So it should help you work. It should not only do the work. I know, yes, automate your process as much as you can to be more productive. That's my mantra as well. Automate your process as much as you can, so you can be more productive. Not you're no longer even productive anymore. You know, yeah, you know, it's just going to be crazy because how long will that last? I mean, it's going to be a ticket time bomb soon. I mean, we're all conscious of the reality as well. So, guys, just surf the internet. Like I said, stay very curious. Ask questions. You know, in this part of the world, you're not taught to ask questions. You're not allowed to ask questions. You know, when you ask questions, it's like you're doing too much, or it's like, at least I don't think any AI tool will tell you you're doing too much. So if you can't ask your fellow human, go to the internet, my guy. Like, ask questions. How? Why? Explain. I'm not convinced. Keep pushing it till you break through. Because when you break through, it becomes your own. And when you begin to explain, the way you talk about it, the way you execute, the way you are able to do what you do best is still going to have your touch. And there's a difference between a man with an understanding and a man who doesn't have an understanding of what he's doing, right? And you don't want to ever be that person at the workplace who doesn't know what he's doing. I mean, it's very disastrous for your career, for you, for your personality, and for your life generally. It's not a good place to find yourself. So just stay curious, guys, and believe you can do it. Like, this is not motivation. I'm not one of a motivational speaker, right? But believe you can do it. Like, if you do not believe you can do it, that's failure from the beginning already. There's no point starting. Do you get? So, like, believe you can do it. I want proof. This is my personal mantra. I heard someone says I have a lot of mantras, but this is one of my last mantras, which is like, a sign that you believe, a sign that you believe are the steps you take towards what you believe. Because you can't tell me you believe and you're not taking steps towards what you believe. That's just belief for yourself. That's just belief by mouth. Your steps prove that you believe. In fact, you don't need to tell me that you believe. But when I look at the steps, I know that, this guy, he believes in this, right? And yeah, pretty much it. I hope that helps and answers the question.
Yeah, very much, very much. Thank you very much. Today has done a lot of justice to all our questions, and I would love to appreciate him myself. Thank you very much, and the whole of Elevate team. Once again, want to say thank you for coming around. It has been a wonderful one from you. Please, guys, let's just cheer him. Let me see some nice emojis. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you to Luani. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And he has done justice and even given us some takeaways. Believe in yourself and walk through the process of your belief, not just believe, but walk through the process. That's been a wonderful session. And once again, it has been brought to us by Elephants Limited. And if you feel you want to know more, you want to take up a course, we offer a lot of courses in our academy. And if you feel you need someone to consult, one-on-one discussion, anything you might feel, please do well to reach out to us on any of our social handle. We're on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, X, even WhatsApp if you are in our community, or just check out our website as well. You can even send us a mail, info@elevate.com or hr@elevate.com. So I'll be there to pick it up. And I also like to bring to our ears that our core 3 for the academy is very much around the corner and it's kicking off very soon. So do well to engage that if you feel the need to pick up a course. Thank you very much, Toluani. So if you feel to chat up someone, there is a contact on the chat box. You can do it to pick it up. Thank you very much, Toluani. Ladies and gentlemen, this will be the wrapping up for this session, and I still want to put our heads down. We are still continuing this series to be closing next week, like this coming week. And then I think there's a session this Friday as well. But in the course of time, you can stay glued to our social media. We'll be putting our posts to notify if there will be a session. But this whole series will be wrapping up this coming, the next coming week, I mean. So thank you very much for everyone that has been plugging in. And I believe we have been getting specific informations and value from all of this. This is designed to help us build our mind and give us clarity. Udochukwu, welcome. I see you. Good evening. And then once again, I want to appreciate everyone by name. Toluwa, thank you for joining. Toluwani, we appreciate you, ma. Oyindamola, good evening and thank you. And the Saints Dead, good evening. Black, good evening. Balikis, good evening. And Mr. Today, sorry, I asked you that the last time. Good evening today, and thank you for the wonderful session. And also to myself, Isaac, thank you. And I think that will help with this session. Let's do well to plug into our to show Andrews to get idea of the next time for the series. And to the next time, I would say stay blessed and stay motivated. Ensure you are doing the best to get the best result out of your AI. Make sure you are using it for value. That's just the best thing. So thank you everyone for joining. Let's do it to have a wonderful evening and the rest of the week as well. Tomiwa, you want snack? Well, I can't mail it to you or something. I can't hear it to you. So maybe you should join the academy. From there, you'll get enough of snacks. Hey, all right, everyone. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you.